Pokemon fans, Tamashii here. Now that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are out, there's a whole slew of new Mega evolutions. This means that there are finally enough Megas out there to really give them a good ranking. So today, I'm going to take a look at the top 10 worst Mega evolutions. What I look for in a Mega are a couple things. First, I think a Mega should improve on the Pokemon it evolves from in some way. Even if a Mega is good in battle, but the original Pokemon could still be considered better, I don't feel like that's doing a good job as a Mega evolution. Second, I'm looking for whether or not that Mega Pokemon can pull its weight in battle when compared to other Megas. Since you can only have one Mega per team, and there's some steep competition for that coveted Mega slot, how they stack up to other Megas is very important. In making this list, I'm not saying any of these Pokemon are actually bad. On the contrary, they all have their uses and strengths, and if you want to find a way to make them work for your team, more power to you. Rather than thinking of these as bad Megas, really they're just the least good Megas, in my opinion anyway. Well, enough with the disclaimers. On to the countdown! Number 10, Mega Haircross. Haircross has always been a good Pokemon, and one of my favorites. With its hidden ability Moxie, its already crazy 125 base attack gets a boost every time it KOs a Pokemon. And if you give it a Choice Band to hold, that attack gets another 50% boost. Its speed is decent, as are its defenses, and with a stabbed Mega Horn in close combat, it can take down even the toughest of threats. Enter Mega Haircross. It gets boosted defenses, but loses quite a bit of speed. And though it gets boosted attack, alone that attack isn't higher than regular Haircross holding a Choice Band, which Mega Haircross can't do because it has to hold a Mega Stone. Skill Link takes over and replaces the ever-menacing Moxie, and though Skill Link can be fun and annoying on Pokemon like Cinccino, Mega Haircross doesn't get a lot of moves to pick from to make use of it. Since Haircross can certainly still function, and function well, as a Mega, it comes in pretty low on this list. But in my opinion, regular Haircross is more fun to use and hits way harder. Number 9, Mega Houndoom. I actually forgot Mega Houndoom existed for a while, which is sad, but I've never seen a single person use it. Mega Houndoom works best in the sun, which means Ninetales is an absolute necessity to support it. And since it's an all-out special attacker, you really need something in there to deal with special walls, which kind of limits your team options. When Solar Power activates, the boost to special attack is great for sweeping, but the HP loss is pretty tough to recover from, especially since Mega Houndoom isn't a particularly sturdy Pokemon as it is. And do I really even need to bring up Stealth Rocks? Mega Houndoom isn't terrible, and it's still a much better Pokemon than regular Houndoom, but it's definitely not your best option for that Mega slot, and evidently I'm not the only one who thinks so. Number 8, Mega Absol. As much as I love the way this thing looks, I have to admit it's not the most useful Mega out there. It's a glass cannon with not quite enough firepower. Its attack, special attack, and speed make it a nice mixed attacker, but compared to other Megas, it just doesn't pack the punch it needs to make up for its frailty. If it can't one-hit KO everything, it will get taken down on the first turn it gets hit. If it could hold an item to boost its power a little more, it would work much better, but that Mega Stone ends up weighing it down and taking up that item slot. Still though, it has some good tools in its arsenal, like Magic Bounce and Sucker Punch, and still a great improvement over regular Absol, so I'm putting it pretty low on this list. Still one of my personal favorites, but there are better Megas out there for sweeping. Number 7, Mega Pidgeot. Mega Pidgeot can do two things really well, Hurricane and Heat Wave, and that's about it. Because of its shallow move pool, it can't learn anything else to take advantage of its no-guard ability, or much of anything else offensively. It barely has any special type attacks to make use of its huge special attack boost. For normal stab, you have Hyper Beam, which makes you recharge a turn, or Uproar, which locks you into the same move for 3 turns and isn't really that strong. That's pretty sad, and also why most people just fill in their remaining slots with some combination of Roost, Tailwind, Protector, U-turn. For Hurricane Span, look no further. For anything else, look away. Number 6, Mega Glalie. For the most part, Glalie's job has always been to boom things. It sets up entry hazards and then poofs with Explosion. With a Mega, it now has the Refrigerate ability to give its booms an Ice-type stab, and it gets better attacking stats all around, so it can be used more offensively. But at the end of the day, it's still gonna go boom. Do you really want a disposable Mega? Do you really want to waste your Mega slot on this thing when there are stronger, more reliable sweepers out there? When there are better field hazard setters? Mega Glalie would have worked fantastically well as a regular evolution of Glalie, but the cost of Mega evolving is just too great for this kind of payoff. Number 5, Mega Aerodactyl. At first glance, Mega Aerodactyl looks like a huge improvement. At 150 base speed, not much is going to get past it, and Tough Claws gives it a 33% damage boost to any moves that make contact. But if you look at it a bit more closely, something is a bit off here. Aerodactyl's 2 most powerful moves, Stone Edge and Earthquake, don't get a bonus from Tough Claws, which means regular non-Mega evolved Aerodactyl holding a Life Orb actually does more damage. When Mega Aerodactyl does use a move that takes advantage of Tough Claws, it's still just barely more damage than Life Orb regular Aerodactyl. Mega Aerodactyl is still lots of fun to use, don't get me wrong. but it just doesn't improve on regular Aerodactyl enough to be worth taking up your Mega Evo slot. Number 4. Mega Abomasnow. Poor ice types. Not only are they weak to some of the most common attacking types, they don't even get good weather. Hail is just disappointing. Very few Pokemon benefit from it, since it only activates the Forecast, Ice Body, and Snow Cloak abilities, and the only move it really works well with is Blizzard, which simply bypasses its accuracy check. It causes chip damage, which only ice types are immune to, making it difficult to build a team around. Since ice types have so many other weaknesses, you can't really go mono ice and get away with it. Abomasnow and its Mega remain the only Pokemon that cause hail to start falling upon a switch-in, which means they are built specifically for this weather. So not only does Mega Abomasnow take up your slot for a Mega, but building a team to support it gives you really limited options. Mega Abomasnow would be fantastic with different typing, and if hail were just a little bit more useful as a weather condition, but since that's not the case, most people don't bother with it. Number 3. Mega Sableye. This is another Mega that's arguably more useful in its original form. Sableye's claim to fame has always been Prankster, and while it faces competition from Klefki and Mega Bandit now, it can have Priority Taunt and Will-O-Wisp without using up a Mega slot, giving it a unique role to play in battle. With its Mega though, it loses Prankster for Magic Bounce and better defensive stats, and while that's great because it was kind of frail before and it got an added weakness with the addition of Fairy, all it can do as a Mega is be kind of mediocre. It can make for a decent wall now, I guess, but it loses the thing that made it really unique, and it also now takes up the Mega slot its job was to save in the first place. Number 2. Mega Steelix. Mega Steelix is like a slightly less useful Mega Aggron clone. Both have extremely similar stats in every area, and they have the exact same defense, with Mega Steelix having just slightly higher special defense and HP, and with Mega Aggron having just slightly higher speed and attack, you'd think they'd more or less cancel each other out. But Mega Aggron renders Mega Steelix redundant with its filter ability. It reduces the damage done by super effective moves by a fourth, and meanwhile all Mega Steelix can do with its ability is set up sand. As a wall, that's not a helpful ability, and since it lacks recovery, regular Steelix with Sturdy actually does that job better, while leaving the Mega slot open. Mega Steelix is just too similar to Mega Aggron to stand out on its own, and its ability really hinders it. And the number 1 worst Mega is Mega Bandit. It seems like a lot of my favorite Pokemon got kinda bad luck in the Mega Lottery. Mega Bandit is kind of a paradox. It gets boosted attack by a lot, but it also gets Prankster, which only benefits you if you use non-attacking moves. So in order to make use of one of Mega Bandit's features, you have to waste the other. Not to mention, Bandit doesn't learn too many uses that it can make use of with Prankster. Just about all it can do is get Priority Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, or Destiny Knot, which is nice and all, but as mentioned before, there are other better Prankster users that can do this job without taking up a Mega slot. And do you really want to Mega Evolve something just so it can kill itself to force a switch? Thankfully, its attack is high enough to make use of the few physical ghost moves out there, but it's just too slow to outrun common threats, and it's not bulky enough to switch in constantly or sponge hits. All in all, Mega Bandit just doesn't make sense, and it's not worth your time or your Mega slot. And that about wraps up the top 10 worst Megas. Let me know what you think is the worst Mega in the comments below, and if you want to see my top 10 Kalos Pokemon, you can click here. Or if you want to see my top 10 worst legendaries, you can click right here. As always, don't forget to subscribe for more Pokemon videos every week. See ya!